Hi, my name is Josh. I'm one of the physiotherapists from myPhysioSA at Mount Barker, and today we're going to be talking about balance. So balance is our ability to be able to keep ourselves upright, to be able to keep ourselves in a stable, upright posture, technically with our centre of gravity over our base of support. So that just means that we're keeping basically our hips over where our feet are. So balance is really important all through life, but obviously particularly as we get older, sometimes that become more of a challenge. And one thing that it can lead to is a higher risk of falls if our balance systems are not working as well as they have done previously. And some people might become more aware that their balance is becoming an issue, and it might be things like your walking is not going quite as smoothly as it used to, or you feel that you need to hang on to objects a little bit more, or you're actually physically tripping on things a lot more often, or you've actually had some falls. And these are all things that point to a fact that your balance is probably not as good as it was and deteriorating. As physiotherapists, we're really well placed to be able to help people with their balance. We can really analyse well how your body is moving, how the three different systems that your body uses to keep your balance are functioning, and what area you need to really focus on with your balance. So in order to keep your body upright and balanced, you need to have good awareness of where your body is, and that's called proprioception. You need to have good visual input and a vestibular system as well, and you need to have the appropriate muscle strength in order to keep you up. So any of those three things, or the 3 or 4 things, can contribute to a lack of balance or some problems with your balance. So what we would do is, if you were noticing that you're having problems with balance and you wanted some help with that, then we as physiotherapists we're able to really help through that area and provide some specific exercises and assessment to point you in the right direction. At myPhysioSA, we also have things like exercise classes that are available to you in order to help that and to help encourage more movement and strength to help make gains in your balance as well. So what we'll do next is have a look at some basic exercises that you can do to test how you're going with your balance at home, and then if you need further help, then it's going to be appropriate to come in and get some proper assessment on how things are going with your balance. So here's some tests that you can do at home to see how you're going with your balance. Just make sure that if you do these tests that you are standing near something that you can grab onto, that you're in a safe situation, that you're not going to actually fall over, because they will test your balance. That's the idea. So the single leg balance test is where you will stand, lift one leg up, so ideally in front of you, but it doesn't matter too much as long as it's not holding on or touching onto your other leg, and ideally you're not going to be holding on with anything else with your hands, but obviously have something close if you need to. Ideally, well, the average person can normally make it past 30 seconds for this balance test. So if you're really struggling, if you're having to touch down multiple times or even once in that 30 seconds, then it probably means that your balance isn't as good as it should be. Excellent. So that's one you can try at home. Another test is the timed up and go test. So this is where you sit in a normal chair. So you can use the kitchen chair, probably not a sofa because it's going to be hard to get off to, but hopefully a chair that's got some handles on it. You start the stopwatch, you stand up out of your chair, you walk to 3 meters away. So you need to have some space in the corridor. You turn around at 3 meter mark, walk yourself back, and then sit down into the chair and you stop the watch. Now if that takes you longer than 14 seconds, then evidence shows that you're at an increased risk of falls. So they're 2 simple tests that you can do yourself at home. So when we identify that some of your balance systems are not quite working as well, we'll normally get you to do some exercises to help correct that, and building on your strength and working on your body awareness or proprioception is some of the main things that are going to help you. And here are some basic exercises that you can probably start at home if you're feeling that you do have a problem with your balance. Again, make sure that you're near something, that you can hold on to something that's steady, that you're not going to have a risk of falling over at all. So you need to make sure the environment's safe around you. So the first exercise would be a slow march. So what we want to do here is try and get your feet in line or at about shoulder width apart. You take one knee up and lift it up in front of you with the opposite arm, and then back down nice and slow, and then the other side. And we're trying to keep our trunk fairly still here, and it's just the arm and the knee, hip that are moving. Now what you can do with this is, as you come up, you can do a slight pause, try and maintain your balance and come back down, and the better you get at this, the longer you're going to be able to hold that pause. And something like this can be done for about 30 seconds up to a minute, and as you get better again, as you get more comfortable, as you're building up your strength and your balance, you can start to go for a longer period of time and add in some other progressions to make it more difficult for you. Another good exercise is going to be standing on one leg. You can have the other toe touching if you're really struggling with your balance, but if you're managing really well, you can have that leg up and you have your arms out in front of you and then taking one arm out to the side. So we're starting to challenge our balance with some rotation through our trunk. And you can swap over to the other side, and as you're getting better with this, you can then start to follow your hand with your eye. So it's adding in some rotation with your head. So it starts to challenge our visual systems as well. We often rely on our visual input for our balance, and as we start to turn our head, that challenges that and makes us rely more on our feedback from our lower limbs. So that's a really good one to do as well. Again, make sure you're nice and safe and you're not pushing yourself beyond what you're able to do safely. Good. A third exercise that you can do at home nicely is in a stride stance. So you can put one foot in front of the other. So what we do here is you can go heel to toe if you're managing, or if you want to make it a little bit easier for you, you can have your feet a bit further apart or a bit wider so you're not quite on like a tightrope. And from that position here, obviously it's almost like we're taking a bit of a stride or a step forwards. From there we can then start to add in some of our arm movements. So this is a more comfortable position or an easier position. This is a harder position. You want to have your weight about 50% on the front leg and about 50% on the back leg. And then we can challenge with our arm movements. So you can try and lift one arm up to the ceiling, and as the other arm floats down, the other arm lifts up towards the ceiling. Good. And again, you can do this for up to 30 seconds to a minute as well. And as we're getting better with that exercise, there are many other progressions that we can do to make that harder. So if you're struggling with your balance, there's some good ones to start off with. But here at myPhysioSA, if you come in for an assessment with your balance and you're struggling with your balance, and we can really progress those exercises a lot more and work out specifically what's going to make the best difference for you early on with your balance problems. And then we can also then phase you into some of our exercise classes and balance classes that we have as well. So we have an exercise physiologist that runs some classes, and he can incorporate balance exercises into those classes as well. And I also run a Pilates balance class on a Friday morning at this stage, where we focus on our balance and our strength and how we're moving those correct movement patterns that really help with our balance. We've had some really good gains with people over the years who have really improved their balance through attending that class on a regular basis. So thank you for listening again. Hopefully that's been helpful for you, and like I said, if you do have some problems with your balance, then we'd love to see you in the clinic, and we'd love to help you getting back to being able to feel more confident with your walking, more confident going up and down stairs on uneven terrain, and whatever else that you're struggling with at this stage. Thank you again.